The word economy is used by people all over the world on the assumption that we all know what it means. But do we? When a coal company or a tobacco manufacturer or a logging firm says that it would hurt the national economy for them to stop their respective businesses, what does that mean? It could mean the loss of jobs for their employees, but that is not really what the company itself is talking about. In fact, it would be quite easy for the government to create new and better jobs for everyone put out of work by shutting down those horrendously destructive businesses. But governments are in on this racket too. Have you heard the government say that it would hurt the economy for people to stay in COVID lockdown, even though they know that lockdowns could save many thousands of lives? Have you heard the same governments say that the economy will suffer if we cut down on greenhouse gas emissions? Throughout the past year, 2020, we've had a chance to experience just what this is all about. In many countries around the world, governments have been forced to do many of those things which they kept telling us would be unthinkable. How many of you, like myself, thought millions of people were going to starve for lack of food or lack of money to buy food because of lockdowns all over the world? Even in the poorest countries, there has been almost nothing in the news about COVID prevention causing actual deaths. And that is because this boogeyman called economy, in fact, has very little to do with life and death concerns. On the contrary, we have actually been asked to face death by supporting the economy.
You're basically saying that this disease could take your life, but that's not the scariest thing to you. There's something that would be worse than dying.
Yeah.
We have had to face death through pollution, death through lung cancer, death through COVID infections, death through global warming. And all for the sake of wrapping this thing called economy up in cotton wool, lest it suffer irreparable damage. So, are you ready for it? Do you know what they mean when they say that the economy might suffer? They mean that the richest people in the world, billionaires most of them, will lose money if the world does not continue to produce and sell junk. Almost all totally useless stuff that no one needs, but that we buy year after year at an ever-increasing rate. And as we keep buying more, the billionaires keep making more and more billions for themselves. It started to become obvious when Western governments began handing out what they call stimulus packages. These were more or less trillions of dollars in make-believe money, fresh off the printing press, and given to you so that you will spend it on anything you like, so that the billionaires would keep on making money despite all the infections that came from your production and consumption. That money was not given to you to pay the rent or to put food on the table. It was given to you so that you could go shopping for luxuries, many of them with built-in obsolescence, so that you will have a good excuse to throw them away very quickly and then come back for more. That, boys and girls, is what Western economies are all about. Yes, some of the luxuries are really quite enjoyable, even useful at times. But 99% of them we can live quite comfortably without. And unless we do learn to live without them, we are going to destroy the entire planet. We have seen much of the so-called economy of the world shut down for much of 2020 with virtually no serious damage to anyone except the billionaires. And we could do it again and again and again. So why don't we? Because on the one hand, the billionaires run the world, and they're not going to let this lovely little rat race stop. But on the other hand, you are hooked. You need your regular fix of wasteful spending. Shopping therapy, they call it, and then they laugh. But this addiction is destroying the world at an alarming rate. Either you kick it, or it is going to kick you. And we here at A Voice in the Desert are here to tell you that the creator of this wonderful planet is not going to let the human race get away with such wanton destruction for much longer. A day of reckoning is looming. Please write to us and ask for more information about what we are doing to reverse the damage done to ourselves and our environment by this evil monster called the economy. Our address is on the screen at the moment. Thank you for listening. God bless you.